So I got a comment the other day on my video about the Dokkodo, which are Miyamoto Musashi's 21 principles in the path of aloneness. Now the comment was critiquing his principles as easy to say you're going to follow, but difficult to actually put into practice, difficult to implement into your life. Now I thought about this statement a little bit, and it made me think about two quotes. One by Miyamoto Musashi, which states, "It will be difficult at first, but all things are difficult at first." And another by Muhammad Ali, which says, "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life." The only success worth achieving is the kind that comes with great struggle. Only through hard work, dedication, discipline, and sacrifice can we accomplish goals beyond that of the common man, beyond that of the average person. I was watching a video by a fitness YouTuber named Arcadelio, and he was watching a video that was titled, "I will be the first natural Mr. Olympia." So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Olympia is essentially a worldwide competition, an international competition, where the best bodybuilders throughout the world come to show off their physique. And to be competitive at that level, every one of them does steroids. So the title stating they would be the first Mr. Olympia, the first person to win Mr. Olympia that was natural and didn't take steroids, was a very lofty goal to put out there. It's a very lofty goal to aim for. So naturally, a lot of people in the comments section were talking about how impossible this goal was, how it was unreasonable, unrealistic. And through all those comments, Arcadelio found one that said, "It is impossible, but that's exactly what makes it a worthy challenge." It's impossible to be completely perfect, but in the pursuit of perfection, in the pursuit of achieving the impossible, we can reach greater heights than we could have ever imagined. Bruce Lee says, if you always put limits on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits, there are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. A goal is not always meant to be reached. It often serves simply as something to aim at. Just because something may be unrealistic doesn't mean it's not worth pursuing. There's the Neil Armstrong quote which says, "Shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you might land on the moon instead." People are afraid of failing, therefore they're afraid of being ambitious. They're afraid of risking greatness, daring to be great. The poem "The Man in the Arena" by Theodore Roosevelt perfectly describes this sort of phenomena of people in the stands, the critic in the stands, judging those playing on the field. They're able to criticize this individual from a position of safety while not having the courage to actually go down there and risk their pride and risk defeat in order to achieve something great. Because all greatness comes from struggle. All greatness comes from doing difficult things. And the message behind The Man in the Arena is that it's better to have failed while having tried your absolute hardest than to never try at all. In aiming for these lofty goals, these unrealistic, unreasonable, impossible goals, you achieve something greater than you ever could have before. There's no point in limiting the amount of success that you can have in life. If you aim to be mediocre, to be average, that's the best you'll ever be, is mediocre or average. But if you aim to be the best, then that's the ceiling. The only way to maximize your potential is to have no limits. To have your limit, if any limit at all, be the highest possible limit that you can put it. To put your ceiling as high as you possibly can. That's the only way to maximize your true potential. So to say something's not worthwhile because it's difficult is not going to be the kind of thing that's going to build you a growth mindset. To have a growth mindset, you have to be constantly striving to do better. You have to constantly be striving to do difficult things. You're not perfect right now, and you never will be. But only in attempting to be perfect will you achieve some sort of level in which, you're not going to be at the very, very best, but you're going to be the very, very best that you can be. You're going to maximize your own potential. We all come short, and that's something that you see in Christianity, for example. We always come short of God's image. We always will sin. It's inevitable. But it's not about being perfect. It's not about being completely sinless. It's about constantly striving for virtue, constantly striving to eliminate your character flaws, to become a better person. And I've talked about this so many times in many of my videos, whether it be my analysis of the man in the arena, whether it be my analysis of different Bible verses, or when I brought up many of the principles of Miyamoto Musashi. It's all about shooting for perfection, shooting for the absolute highest that you can. And even if not achieving that highest level of success, you ultimately will get somewhere pretty close. You're aiming for the stars and you're landing on the moon, which is pretty damn good. So to the person who wrote that comment, I understand that it's difficult and that a lot of things are difficult, but everything that's difficult is difficult for a reason. If something were easy, then everybody would do it, and it wouldn't be a goal or an achievement that was worth anything. Everything's about duality. There's only good with bad. There's only difficult with easiness, right? There's only great levels of success with mediocrity. And if you're not putting in more work than the other person, if you're not putting in more work than everybody else around you, then ultimately you're just going to be on the same level that they are. And that's fine, I guess, if you're satisfied with being mediocre, then that's fine. Life is about finding a certain level of peace and balance. But I know that today many people are not satisfied with who they are, and they think the solution is to be like everyone else, to be a part of this rat race, to just go with the flow. But that's not going to bring you peace and happiness if you're not satisfied where you are right now in life. If you're not satisfied with where you are right now in life, then you need to put in more work. You need to strive to be something beyond the expectations that everyone else has for you right now. And make your own expectations. Don't do what other people want you to do. It's like the Steve Jobs quote that I mentioned in my Dokkodo video about dogma, which is living with the consequences of other people's thinking. Maybe their expectations are totally different from what you want to be. Maybe they want you to be a doctor, but you don't want to be a doctor. Maybe you want to be something else. Make your own goals, but make those goals limitless. Don't limit yourself in anything, just like Bruce Lee says. So I know this was kind of like unscripted, and it may seem like I bounced around a little bit, but I think it's important because I received that comment recently, and then I saw that video that Arcadelio did recently, and it just got me to thinking about what it means to have a growth mindset, what it means to constantly strive to be better, and why that's important, why it's okay to be an idealist and strive for that sort of impossible ideal position, that impossible goal, and never reach it. It's okay to want to be something that you may never actually be, but in creating that really difficult goal and creating the impossible goal, you still will learn so much. You'll achieve so much more than if you limit the amount of success that you can achieve. And it's okay to not be there yet. You have these goals, these expectations, and you're going to fall short of them all the time. You're going to fail so many times before you're successful. And people might call you a hypocrite. They might say, "Oh, you talk about discipline all the time, but you're being lazy." Right? You failed. You came short. You broke your working out streak. You didn't work out this week. And just because you fail, they expect you to give up. But just because you came short that one time, or you're in a bad sort of life trend, your pattern of life recently has been hard, you haven't been living up to your expectations, just because of that doesn't mean you have to give up. It doesn't mean you can't still have these principles and these qualities that you're striving for. Always strive to be the best that you can, even when it seems like you're falling short. And don't let that dissuade you from continuing on the path. Never stray from the way. And if you do stray from the way in a physical sense, never stray from the way in the sense that Your mind is always faithful to this image of what you want to be. I've come short so many times throughout my life, and I continue to come short. I'm probably, not even probably, I am coming short in many aspects of my life right now. But what hasn't changed is my end goal, my end image of myself, me wanting to be a successful person. That's what hasn't changed. And that's what shouldn't change. Even when you fall short in reality, mentally, always stay on the path. Always have the end goal, the end image of what kind of person you want to be. Never stray from the way. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. And, we're constantly learning. We're constantly striving to be better. We're constantly growing. And some things I say now I might not agree with in 10 years, 5 years, a year from now. But it's important that we think about these things and that we think about why we think the way we do. Like in some of the other podcasts, I've talked about epistemology, which is the study of knowledge, essentially. How do we come up with knowledge? Why do we believe what we believe? Why do we want what we want? And think about these things and grow and constantly strive for a better understanding of life, better understanding of ourselves, of others. All these things are important. So that was a little bit of a rant. I had a few points that I wanted to bring up, and I kind of brought them all up in the first 5 minutes, and then I kind of free float a little bit. But like I said, I want to get this off my chest. I want to talk about these sort of things somewhat briefly. And yeah, always strive to be better. Never, only if you're truly at peace with who you are, that's good. But if you're not at peace with who you are, then strive for more. Don't limit yourself because of other people or because of what you think your abilities are. You are capable of so much more than you know. I am capable of so much more than I think I know, right? We are limitless in our capabilities and the amount of success that we can achieve. And I'm not talking about success in a sort of material sense, like becoming rich and having lots of money, having lots of cars. That's not the only, I guess that is a version of success, but there's also success like making an influence in your community, making an influence in your family, for your family, being a good family person, raising children to be the best. Maybe you won't be remembered by the world, but if you're remembered by your children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren for all the sacrifices you made for them, that's making a difference. That's success. There's different ways to quantify success, and each one of us has a different type of success that we want to achieve. But we still have to put in the work. We still have to make sacrifices to achieve that sort of success, and none of it is easy. Even more simple goals like raising a family, that's not easy. To be a good parent, to take care of your children well, to be a good spouse, that's not easy. It takes work, it takes sacrifice, and there's going to be hard times. Anything worthwhile is going to be difficult. Anything worthwhile is going to come with many hardships. And the only way to really be happy and satisfied and fulfilled is to do the hard work, to put in the hard work and then later reap the rewards. A bowl of ice cream or a smoothie or dinner is going to feel so much better if you first had a hard day of work, you worked out, you bettered yourself, than if you had all those things at the beginning of the day before you've actually done anything. If you stay on your couch all day, dinner's not going to taste quite as good as it would if you had a day of work or a day of exercise, going out. You got to earn these rewards. You got to earn these bouts of dopamine or serotonin. You have to earn them to truly feel happy and feel fulfilled and feel at peace. It takes work. Everything takes work. Happiness takes work. Relationships take work. Being a better friend takes work. Anything worthwhile that means something takes work, and it takes hardship, and it's going to be difficult at first, but all things are difficult at first. To be great, you're going to have to be brave enough to take risks and to go beyond what is expected of you, to go beyond what you of yesterday expected of you, and work hard now for the you of tomorrow, for the you of 10 years from now. Do things now that are going to make you the kind of person you want to be in 5 years. And these all might sound like cliches or like, okay, that's obvious, I know that. But sometimes you just have to re-ingrain these concepts in your mind. You have to re-ingrain these sort of beliefs. to constantly grow, to have a growth mindset, to constantly strive to be better. And I've really gone off on a tangent and talked longer than I expected. I was even thinking about maybe even making this a short originally, but I just felt like talking about this stuff, I guess. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Don't limit yourself. To find peace, you're going to have to work. And just because you're not living up to your expectations right now, just because you're not doing the best you can right now, doesn't mean you can't tomorrow. I'm not doing the best I can right now to be the person I want to be. And maybe you aren't either. But that's okay in the sense that, sure, it's not okay that, like, if you're being lazy, it's not okay. But it's okay to still want to be great. It's okay to still want to do more and fail. You're going to fail. You're going to come short, not just in the actual competition, but in training, for example. You're going to come short. You may not be putting in the work that you need to right now to achieve the level of success that you want to achieve, but that shouldn't change your mindset. Your mindset and your end goal should still be the same. You shouldn't be dissuaded by your lack of success right now. Just because you right now are not doing everything you can to be the best doesn't mean you can't eventually be the kind of person that does everything they can to be successful. That will and can be you. Like I said, I have a lot I need to do right now. I'm doing a lot of good things, but I'm also not doing a lot of things that are going to be bettering myself for the future. And that's true of a lot of people. But just because we're not living up to our best expectations right now doesn't mean we can't be tomorrow or a week from now or even today. It's just like that. You flip a switch and you get back on the path. You flip a switch and then you're back on that grind. You're back on the journey towards the end goal that you want to achieve. And sometimes that goal changes. Sometimes what you want changes. But what shouldn't change is your mindset and your goal of wanting to be better than you are today. Wanting to be better tomorrow than you were yesterday or whatever. Anyway, I've gone off for a long time. I think I'm going to end it here. But if you listen this far for some reason, then I guess I thank you. But as usual, this is the Warrior Philosopher, building the foundations of the warrior philosophy. And I'll see you all next time.